Hello friends, Dave here, social media influencer. I tried to record this video once. It was about 27 minutes. I was sat on that rock over there. Beautiful scenery, dog shit audio. So I've relocated. I'm now somewhat more foresty, and I'll try to tighten this up somewhat. I went through a whole heap of shit recently, and it very, very negatively affected my mental health, and I'm such a vocal proponent for being open about this sort of shit that if I didn't talk about it, I think I'd be a bit of a hypocrite. I'm now also, thankfully, in a better spot. Not much better. I'm kind of still going through it a bit, but I'm comfortable, I'm safe. I decided to fly home for Christmas and for New Year. After 2 years of strict diligence, mask everywhere, double vaxxed, not going anywhere I didn't need to, really just trying my best to avoid humans. So in about October or so, I started really thinking about this. And I was talking to my parents, talking to my family, talking to my friends, going, maybe this is the moment. Now, bear in mind, in October, Omicron wasn't a thing yet. People weren't talking about it. So I'd booked everything up. I was ready to go. I was so excited to go. And come closer to the time, a new variant announced. New variant just dropped. And nobody had yet really formally sort of been able to identify the scale of this thing and the importance of this one. It was like, Delta had sort of come about and it didn't necessarily, shake the world. So when Omicron comes around, I'm keeping a close eye on it, and it's certainly making me very stressed. Like, I started my holiday on the 1st of December, and immediately, I'm keeping a close eye on this thing. And as I got closer to the time of my flight, which was on the 19th, things started changing. Flight requirements started changing. Immediately a pre-flight test spawned out of fucking nowhere, and we're talking this on the 10th. So 9 days before I fly, suddenly there's a new thing I need to follow. And filling out all these forms was just such an arseache. The British government are very strict about their entry requirements, which is fair. I don't disagree with. But if you're going to be strict and you're going to impose mandates, those fucking mandates and the processes around them need to be robust. And they were not. They were the opposite. They were fucking absolutely cack-handed. And every single stage was a nightmare. And all of the stress landed on us. One of the forms, the passenger locator form. And I swear to you, every part of it was wrong. You had to have essentially all of the stages filled in, which was a pre-flight test, a day 2 test, where you're going to be, what you're going to do. Now the thing is, according to the mandates, according to the rules, you arrive, then on day 2, you do your day 2 test, and then if you're clear, fucking go for it. Go out there, enjoy your time. But the PLF was very, very adamant that you have 10 days somewhere. Where are you going to isolate for 10 days? Now, the thing is, that'd be fine. It's they haven't considered context. But then at the end, there's a declaration phase where you have to promise everything I've said here is absolutely fucking accurate. And it's suck my fucking dick. If you're going to have something that is that strict and that fucking right, make sure every part of this works. So, fast forward, get to the 19th. I'm stressed out of my fucking mind, but I go to the airport. I get the pre-flight test, negative, thank fuck. I then get into the plane, all goes good. Get to Edinburgh, and again, I've had this mask glued to my face the whole fucking time. I get to the hotel, and I haven't been around anyone. The longest time I spent around anybody was in the plane. Even in the passport section of it, the big long queue, I was staying the fuck away from everybody. I was keeping a very, keeping myself distant. I get onto a night bus, nobody on it. I get to the middle of town. I walked to my hotel, which is very close by. Again, not spending any time around anybody. Feeling pretty good about myself. I think I did it all well. I felt great. Into the hotel, and the day 2 test isn't there. Now that's fucking annoying, because they say that you can do the test before the second day. It's just called the day 2 test, but like whatever you get, you can do it the same minute. Day 2, no test. Day 3, I think, also no test. It was by day 4 that it arrived, and then I did it as quickly as I could. I ran to the fucking post office, flung it in the post box, and then waited. And waited. And waited. And it wasn't until day 7 or so, I think, that it came back negative. But there's a twist. Because you see, by day 4 or day 5, I suddenly felt sick as a fucking dog. That's right, folks. I was feverish for about 3 days. No loss of taste or smell, so I kind of thought to myself, probably just a cold. And I'd been warned about this, that like, now, because I've been isolated for so long, and, there's a likelihood that things like the cold might hit you hard this year. Then after the 3 days, sore throat, and during the 3 days, and then 2 days afterwards, really sore throat, like really nasty one. And then by about day 6 or 7 or so, feeling okay. One weird effect that I still kind of have to this day is kind of like an itchy chest. Now it's basically like maybe at the end of my breath there's a slight crackling, and like it just feels like there's something slightly laid in there. But again, not bad. Like I would occasionally cough, but not uncontrollably. Like if I wanted to, I just didn't cough. So it was fine. Now I'm, of course, beside myself a bit, because I'm like, I've got a cold, I don't want to be around anybody, and I can't tell if this is anything more. And thankfully my parents came through and they brought me to the hotel a 7-pack of antigen tests. My dad comes up covering a mask, he puts it at the door, I take it, I say thank you, and then I do the test, and it's positive. Now, I don't feel I need to tell you folks what this means is no Christmas and no New Year for Dave. That means 14 or whatever it was, 17 days that I was in Edinburgh in a hotel. So all these plans, all this hope, all this optimism, the only optimism and hope I've had in 2 years, gone in one test. So I was beside myself. I was crushed. But it gets worse. Oh, if only it stopped there. So my next step is to go to Dunbar, because I had only booked the hotel through until the 26th. So I essentially had the 19th that I arrived, and then falling sick on around, say, the 22nd or so. My numbers are all off during this, but I'm trying to kind of parse through my memory of this. It was a very dark and vague time. But yeah, I then needed to leave on the 26th. Now, of course, my first initial check was, what would it cost to stay here for the rest of this time? Because I hadn't booked anything in Dunbar. The plan was to go to stay with my family. And unfathomable amounts of money was the answer. Like, this was on like the 22nd or so that I started checking about this. And where my standard rate for the days was about £50, or about, whatever, $60. For those days, from the 26th through until the 31st, £300 a night, or $400. Wild amounts of money. And not the kind of wild amount of money I can just throw around. Oh, fuck the wind. Hopefully you can still hear me. Not the amount that I can really just throw around. I immediately am like, fuck. So I contact my mother, who is in a small seaside town called Dunbar, and I was like, is there any hotels there? What sort of price we're looking at? And £50 a night, easily done. So I'm like, right, now I just need to get myself there. And my immediate thought process is, well, I can't take an Uber or anything because that's just me exposing one dude for a whole journey. Can't take a taxi for the same reason. So I thought, train. A train is something that I feel I could control. I can get there and be away from everybody, and I can kind of get fucking shot of like people around me on the train itself, like stay in a vestibule, stay in a toilet, whatever, just be the fuck away from everybody. So I'm like, right, that's the plan. Oh, then everything starts going wrong. Well, actually, I was going to say that everything starts going wrong. Everything had already gone wrong. I don't even mention some of these smaller things, but like when you're in this position, some of the smaller things really were fucking huge. Like even saying them was going to sound pathetic, but fuck it, it's my mental health, so kiss my ass. I'm in the hotel, and all I have to eat, and this is during the middle of the COVID bit, all I have to eat are apples. Like I had a couple of rolls earlier on, but I finished those off, and then it was just apples. So I had apples and tap water. Mwah. Now, I start eating one of these apples, and again, this is like the only food I have, and I fucking absolutely gnaw the inside of my cheek. Like just a real heavy bite on the inside of my cheek, and it just immediately was like, holy fuck. And it swelled up. And like when I looked at it in the mirror, it was like a white line going down the inside of my cheek. So like ulcerated in a way. And it was brutal. And from there, like immediately no more sleeping. Because like you lie on that side and you're lying on it, you lie on that side and it's resting against your teeth. Just endless like thumping pain. Another night I get up, it's late night, I think. I go to the bathroom, I come back through. Now at this point, I've had nothing to eat but apples and I've nothing to drink but tap water, and I sit down on the bed and I'm exhausted, I'm just so fatigued. I sit down on the bed and I fall back and I misjudge it. I miss the pillow and I just smash my head off the wall. And I'm looking around at nobody, just going, what the fuck is happening? Why is this? Like, I've already got COVID. I've already got a fucking, like, swollen cheek. I'm just fucked in every possible way. Why this also? I am livid. So then this next fucking misfortune, I check the train times on their website, and it's there. It's a couple of trains one train per hour. So I pack my stuff up on the day of the 26th. Now, I feel at the time and to this day immense guilt leaving that hotel on the 26th. Like, I'm a big proponent of doing everything right. That's why I stayed isolated in my apartment for 2 years. I barely fucking left. I mean, honestly, I almost didn't leave. So I couldn't throw £300 a night. I couldn't throw over £1,000 away for 4 fucking days. And so I thought I could control this. I thought I could make this right. So I head to the train station, and I see nobody. Like, it's the 26th, it's Boxing Day, right? I've already spent Christmas in a hotel on my own. Boxing Day is dead. There's nobody in the train station. And Waverley train station is down low. It's very deep. You have to go down a whole set of stairs. So I head all the way down there wearing this giant traveller backpack thing and another bag, and I'm carrying all my stuff. I've got no food in me. I've got no fucking energy at all. And I get down there, and there's no train times on the board. So the website was wrong. The website just ignored holiday Christmas times. And I see a guy over in the distance, and I'm masked, he's masked, and I stand at a distance, and I'm like, trains are off, are they? He's like, yeah, only a couple of trains to Glasgow, which is not where I was going. Now here's where the joke comes in, is I then need to head back out of Waverley train station. I am in the bottom of the Waverley train station. The only way up and out is through the Waverley steps, which is like 6 or 7 stretches of escalators, which were off, because of course they were. Now I'm so dead to the world already, and I'm like, fuck. And so I start climbing, and I feel like I'm going to fucking collapse. And that's not exaggeration. I felt like I was on the edge of just dropping. I'm housing water that I took with me, tap water, of course. I get to the top, and I'm just looking out over like the top of Princess Street, and I'm just like, I'm there's no words for the feeling. I'm like incapable of describing this feeling of just impotent rage. Like I'm comedically known as being angry, but like in practice, in person, certainly in my professional life and in my personal life, I'm not somebody who fucking goes mad. I'm never violent. I'm rarely actually particularly aggressive, but at the top of the stairs, I remember just having this moment where I just clenched my fists and my teeth and I just fucking growled at nothing. It's so irrational. I was just like, you fuck, and I'm like, and I then caught myself and realized that like there might be people around. There wasn't anybody immediately around, but I was like, fuck's sake. I pulled myself together to some extent, but I did that about 3 or 4 times in this fucking trip, I tell you. And then I realized I need to take a fucking bus. It's my only option. And that motherfucks me because I can't control that. I can't be as isolated and as safe as I want to be there. So I get to the bus stop, bus rocks up, I pay for it. And then as I'm walking to the back, and I'm already just feeling really horrible and really guilty about doing this at all, and I see a guy in the bus, no mask, and he's got 2 fucking pipes in his nose. So my mind immediately is like, I might kill that guy. That guy might now be infected with COVID and die, and that's on me. Let's look at the lake a little bit. Oh, Jesus. Fuck me. So next step, get to Dunbar. Train, like the bus took a long time. It was like an hour and a half because it has lots of stops, whereas the train would have been 30 minutes. I get there and I get into the hotel. And so my parents are 2 minutes down the road. They're having a Christmas shindig that I was supposed to be at. And of course it was like my brother was going to be there, my sister-in-law, who I was dying to see again. But I got none of it. New Year, a friend was supposed to come over, and this is another thing. I banked so much on this, like just in terms of just something that would have given me some elation, some joy, getting to see a person who I've not met yet and was just is a really close friend who's been really good to me over the past year and a bit or whatever, and that just was really, it was something I had a lot of my sanity just banking on. And as soon as I got COVID, I sent a message and just said, cancel your flight. So yeah, Christmas and New Year, sat in the hotel. And that was it, really. Like the closest I got to anything was I stood on the opposite side of the street to my parents' cottage. I knocked on the door, crossed the street, and then I just shouted over a conversation to my mum. And like saw my dad a couple of times, and same deal, just talked at a great distance. No hugs, no drinks, no laughs. Yeah. Anyway, enough of this shit. Managed to cut 10 minutes off the video, so that's good. If this video stands to tell anyone anything, it is do not fucking travel right now. Just get your vaccines, isolate, don't fucking fly anywhere. And if anyone tells you otherwise, tell them to shut the fuck up. From experience, this is not the time to fly. This is the wrong time. It's all fucked and it's all shit. Don't fly anywhere. I don't care how important it is. Funeral, fucking wedding, whatever. Just do not fly anywhere. It is not worth it. It is not the time. Stay safe, motherfuckers.